I'm Joe Pepitone. I'm at Norcross High School, and I am in a trailer this year. And so some of the limitations there with this upcoming unit with circuits was having students construct a simple DC and have it be a series circuit and a parallel circuit within the same lab space, within the same time. Traditionally, we would need battery eliminator that's roughly a foot by 2 feet by another foot 6 inches, one per group, which means 10 of those for a class of 30 kids, so they can work in small groups of 3. We would need wires to connect all the resistors and bulbs. We would need the bulbs. We would need fuses because the students often blow fuses because they are not quite there in the understanding of how to construct a circuit. And then you have to put out those fires, or rather, lack thereof, you have to replace all of the fuses for every box that goes out. And that would have been a nightmare in a trailer class. So I went to look around for alternative ways to do the same lab. The pens are not new, but the newest version of them is amazing compared to the previous pens that existed out there were iron-based. If you drew a circuit, it would take, I don't know how long to dry. Their competition is really not a good option as far as what I was looking for. So then it became like, do we do copper tape and like tape that down to do the same kind of lab? But then it doesn't give them the test that they're going to take has pictures of circuits on it. These pens allow them to draw those pictures that they're going to see anyway on the test and see if they work, see if the light bulb lights up. In the end, as far as the assessment goes, I'm just looking for if the light bulb lights up. So it's super easy for me. Either they did it right and the light bulb will light up, or they're not quite there yet and the light bulb won't light up. They can't move on to the next step until they get the light bulb to light up in a simple series circuit, and then I give them the instructions to move on to do a parallel circuit. Doing it down on paper is, in my opinion, going to be a game changer once they get on the test. They'll be able to see on the test what they drew in lab and identify it as a series or parallel and know that they made that, they constructed that works. And they love that part of it being hands-on instead of just looking at diagrams going, this one is series and this one is parallel, this one is series. That's boring. This is a lot more fun, a lot more interactive. And they get success when they get the light bulb to light up. And so I get to watch that happen, or I get to troubleshoot with them, because sometimes I don't know what's wrong. And so we have to go through the scientific process of your hypothesis. If we change this, it should work after that. And I help them along with that, especially if they're struggling really hard to get the light bulb initially to light up. Try and flip the battery, try and do this, because they don't really understand how an LED works. So that's where I have to come in and fix that part of it. But yeah, doing this initially, this is designed to do in the trailer with space that's limited. The groups would be able to work at one person desk, kind of like the one I'm sitting in, and they can pull up desks around them. You don't need a lab table. You don't need to plug anything in, because in the trailer we would need to plug in every battery eliminator. Every box needs to be plugged in. That would also be a nightmare, setting up the room.
That's a lot of power.
So that, there's a lot of electricity being used. This is just a 3-volt lithium-ion battery, which are expensive up front, but they last so long. Mm-hmm. I'm not anticipating needing to buy a new battery for a long time to come. Pens, yeah, you could possibly run out of ink, but they should be able to write for a really long time before you need that. LED light bulbs, they should last virtually forever. They don't burn out. So all this stuff that buying up front might seem expensive, in the long run, you'll never have to worry about it again. Buying fuses every year is a nightmare. Buying new bulbs every year that they blow out is a nightmare. And the battery eliminators, plugging them in and making sure everything works is a nightmare. It's time consuming. And in the 52 minutes that we have, making sure that they construct a circuit, if it doesn't work right, then you're out of luck. That's it. What else? Oh, and then bringing in the other components in there, having makey that was already here at the school, and squishy circuits is something that I'm excited to use in the future also, because that allows them to create series circuits and parallel circuits in a hands-on, and they construct the dough however they need to construct it. Just a different way to do the same kind of thing that they were doing in lab anyway. Hopefully getting that deeper understanding of kind of like, oh, this works also why does this work and also this work and also that work, and connect it all together, so that they have the full understanding of things. Some of the students wanted to find out if they could download that, if they can make the dough themselves. And that's really cool that they didn't want to leave class. The bell rang and they all were like, no, we need more time.
Yeah.
Can we just stay here? And some of them want to do it again. They want to have another day like that, which, perhaps when we get to magnetism or something like that, we can do something similar with the same kinds of ideas, same kinds of items. So that's the plan. Yeah, and when this started, I started finding those things and getting the wheels in motion in September, October of this year. It's February now, by the way. And the pens finally got ordered. They finally came in. Everything came together like just in time. So you do kind of have to start it early so that you can get approval. You can get the funding that you need to order those things. Because the pens, the good ones, the ones that we were using in lab, run about $20 each. Having the students fill out a piece of paper with those pens was giving me a heart attack, saying, no, don't use those pens. Those pens are special. Use so then you just kind of learn and adapt and change the lab up so that it works with the materials that you have. So it's a learning curve on that end. I had high hopes that we would be able to create all kinds of stuff with those pens, but really at the college prep level, challenging environment was for them to even get the light bulb to light up and get a parallel circuit to happen. Some kids were above that, so they moved on to the harder steps of the lab, trying to put a switch in where they could actually turn the lights individually, turn lights on and off within the circuit, and really trying to do that. But most kids were challenged enough just getting the light bulb to light up and then getting the light bulb to light up where they can remove one and the other one would stay lit. Which is the standard. That's the standard, is that they have to construct a circuit. It's got to be DC, it's got to be battery powered, and it's got to be a series circuit, and it's got to be a parallel circuit. So, did we hit the standard? Yeah, I think we did. I think we're there. What else? What other questions
Well,
do you have?
I was just, as you were kind of reflecting on how things rolled and kind of those structures for differentiation for different students, something I think we really enjoyed seeing was just kids wrestle with that problem solving, but that there was a bit of a safety net in that they had peers, they had adults who could kind of help nudge them along if they were getting stuck, and just to hear them think aloud, that whole kind of inquiry process, we really enjoyed seeing that. And as you said, they were super excited and didn't want to go. That's not, something you hear every day from kids. So.
Not in science class and not in physics class. Some students are very much under the impression that I don't know how to do physics, and physics is hard, and I'll never be able to do anything with physics. Well, every time they switch on a light, they're using physics to turn that light on. Hopefully they get that connection with the everyday, the real world, the electricity that they use to charge their phone, things like that. My phone's not charging. Why not? Well, there's a gap in the circuit. Turns out that you need a new wire is what you need. Having that understanding, just to being able to troubleshoot in their own lives, it could definitely be a huge asset for the kids to have that information to know how it works.
Yeah.
And they like it. Who knows? Maybe they'll all become.
You never know. Oh yeah, we like the kind of the real world applications too. Well, just kind of one final sort of thing maybe to reflect on. The way we had it set up, they were kind of almost rotating, almost like centers or stations. And of course, we had Logan, our LSTC and former science teacher, helping facilitate along with Jen with the makey and the squishy circuits. And I was just wondering, your thoughts on that setup, actually kind of having a team of other, teachers or, people who could kind of help coach and move the kids through those stations. What was that experience like compared to maybe a traditional sort of lab experience?
That was awesome because that became part of the motivation that they had to get their standard met, because as we got a little bit better with timing throughout the day, I felt like we could do a little bit more okay, you've got to get the light bulb to light up, and then you can go play with the fun stuff. Go play, go play with make music happen using the circuits that are hooked up to the computer. Make a circuit out of Play-Doh using the squishy circuits. Having those stations to rotate to. I wish that there were more. I wish that it could be make a series circuit over here and you have time to do that, make a parallel circuit over here, you have time to do that, may have makey going on and have squishy circuits. But I was a little worried that the goal of that was to get them to make a series circuit and a parallel circuit. And some students are going to need more time on
Right.
that. So those are the students that just went last up to the makey and the squishy circuits. And the squishy circuits ended up being part of the standard. Makey, not so much, because it was difficult, I think, for the kids to see it happen because they were literally part of the circuit. They became a conductive path. They held hands or slapped hands or whatever it was. And so that wasn't quite the goal of the lesson, but it was a lot of fun. And they liked the idea that they could control the computer in different ways. They were definitely interested in that, and some of them were really advanced, being able to control the mouse using, I don't know, they're using like a banana and holding hands and things like that. And they were figuring out more about it as they were going around, just exploring what the possibilities are with that kind of setup. Whereas the initial lab was just to, like I said, make that bulb light up, because that's the standard. At the very minimum, out of the day, they should be able to construct a circuit that's series, construct a circuit that's parallel. That's the target. The target is I can do that. And as long as everybody can do that, we signed off, at least they can do those two things, then I feel like it was a success. All the rest is gravy. You know, that other stuff is a lot of fun for them. But when it comes down to testing, hopefully they'll sit down to take a test and they'll do better because they have real experience with it, as opposed to a kid not doing this lab or doing it in a way that's very clunky. They may not see the simple, clean picture of the circuit. They may see a bunch of jumbled wires and they don't know why this bulb can light up and that one can't. They should make it very clear. And it was obvious which kids were struggling with turning two light bulbs on at the same time because they didn't have an understanding of a parallel circuit. And so that was a good, we'll use the buzzword, formative assessment for me to go, oh no, those kids don't know. I have to go over there and teach them. And so I did. And then that was it. They were ready to roll after that.
Well, I think that was, one of the things we enjoyed about, the learning studio becoming kind of lab central was just that it allowed us as a team, I think, to help meet kids at different points of need, and
It was
that
definitely-
you met your standard, but then there was also kind of that extension and curiosity and fun and hands-on exploration.
It was definitely the extra people, the support I had in that room that made it so much easier on me to be able to work with that one group, because the other groups had things to do. I didn't have to worry about them getting stalled out or getting stuck or anything else, because they had makey going on and the squishy circuits going on, and I mean they were super involved. I mean some of them, in my opinion, my biggest behavior issues went away the second they went, what? We get to touch that and play with the computers. Like, when do we get to go over there? Well, as soon as you get this stuff done, and then all of a sudden it was down to work. They got that stuff done quick so that they can move on and play with the stuff they want to play with.
Yeah, they were super engaged and motivated.
Yeah, I told them, I said, this class is going to be my struggling class. This one I have struggle with the students in here. And I think the support staff, the people that were there, Logan, they were like, really? This is the bad class? Didn't really seem that bad. Get them in a situation where it is a little more mundane, it's a little more boring, and there are definitely problems going on in the class. Here, I didn't even have to worry about it. I could work with those kids struggling, and the other kids that weren't struggling were having fun somewhere else, doing something else. So it was awesome.
Well, we appreciate you working with us, and we're excited to be part of the team, and we're looking forward to next time. And thanks for letting us learn
It'll
with
be
you and
soon.
your students.
Magnetism's coming up.
All right, awesome. Thank you.